Call to order the meeting, January 27, 2021.
Okay, so the virtual meeting statement pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law, chapter 30A, subsection 18, and the governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. The meeting of the Hubbardston Economic Development Committee will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via Zoom. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website a comprehensive recording of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. So with that being said, the meeting is being recorded and it's all yours, Whitney.
Thank you very much again, Mallory. Appreciate you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care.
You as well. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. Taryn is not here with us this evening. Just want to start the meeting and let everybody know that his dad is in a critical condition in the hospital on a ventilator. And I thought maybe we could just take just a couple of seconds to send out some energy, a prayer, a good intention, whatever, so that he can get back to his family and back to his good works. So can we do that for just a minute? Would be great. Okay, thank you. Second, I'd like to let everyone know that Peter Walker will be acting secretary for tonight's meeting. And thank you very much for that. Appreciate you for that. So first on the agenda is to approve the minutes from our last meeting. Everyone has them, I believe. Have we looked them over?
Yes.
Everyone, can we get a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second?
Second.
Okay, any comments or corrections? Okay, hearing none, let's move to approve them. And we're gonna go slow for you, Peter, okay?
That's all right. You're being recorded.
Okay, good. All right, okay. All right, so first on the agenda was to talk about a cutoff date for the single sponsorship for the Welcome to Hubbardston signs. I did call a couple of the businesses. I'm waiting. I did get feedback from two of them and haven't had in-person conversations with them. Do we want to make a decision on that now? I know at the last meeting we talked about the fact that between COVID and perhaps the expenditures during the holidays, might have been better to reach out to them after the first of the year. And also with new elections, typically when there's an election year, people are a little bit cautious about their expenses or their expenditures. And so I'm happy to revisit that and make an effort to,
Whitney, you muted yourself.
Hello.
Okay, I apologize.
Oh.
Better?
Yes.
Okay, good. So, I'm willing to reach out to, to many different businesses in town. But I'd like to do that, within the next couple of weeks. As I said, I reached out to a few and have gotten a little bit of feedback, but I'd like to make a real, push on that in the next couple of weeks. Now that we've gotten through the new year, there does seem to be a release on some of the restrictions from the governor, and perhaps that'll, just open avenues for businesses. So what do we think about that? Anybody?
Sounds good.
Okay, so let's try and determine a cutoff date. Obviously nothing can be put in the ground before the ground softens, okay? And that probably wouldn't happen until when? About April, perhaps, something like that?
Well, yeah, that's usually it.
Usually it. So what do you think about a date in May? I mean, in April, whether it's the beginning or the end, doesn't matter, as that cutoff point where we, will then do an effort to promote multiple sponsorships. But that's, that'll, I think, give, some good time to reach out to most of the businesses. And again, I think because we are asking for between $1,500 and $2,500, that I think that something like that warrants an in-person or at least a phone conversation above and beyond just the flyer that we sent out.
I mean, the first Friday in April is the 2nd, so it's probably a good date to kind of, if you need to pull a trigger on something.
Okay, good. April Fool's Day, we're asking you for $2,500. Yeah, that's just
If you gotta throw a date on it, I mean.
sure. Yeah, all right. I
Friday's
think
usually a good thing too.
okay. All right. Anybody else? Anyone else have any suggestions about a cutoff time?
Marathon Monday.
You think a Monday is better cutoff? It's like the 5th.
6 1/2 dozen or the other, it doesn't matter to me. I was just throwing a date out there.
All right, well, let's not also forget that tax day is April 15th. And does that play a role? Should we make that effort before tax day, or should we do it after tax day?
Well, I mean, if you're gonna use it for a tax like write-off, you're thinking
There
for
you go.
businesses?
Yeah,
Well, then they probably would have wanted it far before, hopefully April 15th, because April
Sure.
15th is, then you'd need to be going on extensions. So if you want to consider that being one of your factors, then maybe even bumping it back a couple of weeks before then, if that's a consideration in it.
and and someone would benefit from that in 2021 on their taxes for 2020.
I can't give any personal tax advice or anything, or being recorded or anything like that per, licenses with my
Okay.
husband. That would need to be a phone call to him.
Fair enough.
I'd be more than
Fair enough.
follow up on that if you'd like. I just can't put
Yeah.
any licenses that we have.
Yeah, let's do that. Would you mind? I
I'll
think
say
that would
that.
be helpful.
Yes, you can.
All right, absolutely. I can follow up with them even tonight, and I can shoot you an email tonight with, so that you
Thank
can
you very much. Thank
have
you.
your
Yeah, and
consideration.
okay, terrific. All right, so we'll table that until the next meeting with that
Okay.
information that you give to me.
Sure.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. And the next on the agenda is the Airbnb fees, possible fees. And I think at the meeting that we made some definitive decisions was that we were talking about a 3%, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So here's what I'd like everybody to consider, because we can approach it more as a registration fee or something like that. I've looked, because are finding accommodations for visitors and that kind of thing. So I'm constantly on Airbnb, and just as a matter of what's happening right now, for example, we have three homeowners that are Airbnb right now, and they can take their listing off and on anytime they want to. Okay. We've got one of them now.
She's muted again.
Okay. We have one family or homeowner, whatever, that is charging $280 a night. So far, they have 28 reviews. Now, when a person rents from you, they don't have to leave a review. Okay, that's up to them. So this person in particular, just this one that we're highlighting, has a minimum of 28 people have stayed there. Okay, 28 times it's been rented. Okay. And right there, that's a total of $7,840. We have another that rents for $100 a night, and they have had over 58 reviews. So they've had a minimum of $5,800 coming to them. And then we have, a couple of others, $90 a night, but they've only had 12 visitors, and that kind of thing. So we're looking at just in those three, over $14,000 that have been collected by these homeowners, okay? And I think, given those figures, and some of them don't even have available space for the next couple of months because ski season is pretty popular, What's that? Okay. So, based on that, based on those figures, I would like to revisit the idea of charging some kind of fee, either that tax fee, or a yearly registration for it, a set amount for it, because those are pretty good figures that we're missing out on. And when it gets built up, you just multiply it. Right now, just on those alone, the city's lost $430 just on those figures alone. But if you multiply that by maybe 10 homeowners or that kind of thing, you're talking, $4,000 and $5,000 just on an additional 10 homeowners.
I say do it.
Okay. Are you committed to that 3% fee, or what do you think about a registration fee versus an impact fee or anything like that, where it just be a one-time shot, per year, not for their lifetime? Because I mean, someone who's made almost $8,000 in rentals, I don't think they're going to balk at $100, registration fee in order to be able to.
Registration fee would probably be more attractive to somebody than looking at a percentage off something,
Okay.
personally.
Right. Well, some of the fees, now in case some of you don't know, but some of the fees that can be included in Airbnb would be charged to the host, the homeowner. Some of them would be charged to the renter. And when you look at them, I mean, just, from these amounts, $430, those fees, when you hit that button, are usually like, $4.05, $7.18, very innocuous amounts that, I don't think anyone would balk at. And that was kind of how we left it last time, and that was quite a few months ago, was for everybody to take a look and see, as they're just going through the Airbnb website, when you do hit that for additional fees, how really minimal they appear, and and actually, how many of the hosts do have that. So we could go either way with it, but I do think that the town is missing something. And again, this will not go into an EDC fund. This, I think, would be part of the general fund, I think, is how it was explained to us. But it's just lost revenue for the city, and that's just kind of silly.
I think a registration.
A registration. Okay. Danielle? You're muted. You're off.
There we go. I was trying to find the button. I think the registration fee would be fine.
A set registration fee. Okay. Now, and Katie,
Although-
go
Although I
ahead.
don't know if that would just deter people.
Well, I don't, okay. I mean, there's the discussion. That's what we need to talk about. I mean, at $7,800, and I'm not sure. I certainly wouldn't, balk at, getting the approval because we have a right to collect that money. There's very few cities in the country that don't collect that money. And sometimes we rented our house out in Aspen, and they charged us a whole lot more money to be able to do that, for sure.
Can I say something?
Yeah, please, sure.
Rather than a fee, that set fee is, why don't we just set a fee every time somebody books a place? We get a cut of that.
Well, that's the difference. Is one of them is a registration fee that would be for a year, and the other one is per booking, and that automatically comes out once Ryan signs us up with that, and that percentage that we want, that automatically gets deducted and put into an account.
I say if you go with a registration fee, you're losing out on money.
Well, I think potentially, yes, you're right, you would. There's a lot less money. There is a lot less money to be collected if we do it just by a yearly registration fee, absolutely. But
Correct.
so, yeah, we need to think about that. I know, Katie, I'd like you to give your input because I know how you felt about it the first go round. We did decide on the 3%. We can just stick with that. That's fine. But, given the prices that I gave you, or the amount of revenue that's being collected by the homeowners, do you still feel the same way?
I think that specifically Airbnb is, I don't like it at all because you're only, first of all, collecting off one site. There's numerous sites that you can use. Like personally, I never use Airbnb, so I wouldn't be booking on anything Airbnb anyway. So you wouldn't get any fees from me. A lot of these homeowners could use other sites, so you'd still be losing out on revenue. But the other thing too is I'm looking on Airbnb and I can't find anything for Hubbardston. So I'm not sure if I'm just not doing it correctly because I don't use this site. But I put in Hubbardston, Mass. I've changed dates. I've put different guests and everything else, and I can't find a damn thing for Hubbardston.
Okay. Well, my
So,
suggestion is to put nothing
Yeah,
in the
go ahead.
dates or amount of people and just hit them. There are
Yeah,
about 50.
that was,
There are about
yeah,
15
that
pages.
was the original.
About what?
She's frozen.
Yeah, she froze for a minute. There are about 15 pages of them, and there are some from Ashburnham, from Hardwick, from Holden. There's, and you just have to go down the list. They're not done. What's that?
You're frozen, Katie.
Internet Spectrum sucks. Was that on there? Did that come through?
Yes.
It did.
I
It
said
did.
Spectrum sucks. For real.
So it came through twice. That's good. Were you
Okay,
able to hear?
right. But I can hear you guys. Apparently you guys can't hear me, which is super awesome,
No, you were completely frozen. Yeah, you were completely
Okay,
frozen.
of course.
Did you see any of the listings, Katie?
Did I see the what?
Any of the listings for Hubbardston by doing it like I said, without don't put dates or anything?
Yeah, because hold on, I'm changing my Wi-Fi. Hold on.
All right.
Is that better?
Yeah, I can't see you anymore.
Okay,
So
hold on.
far.
Stop. Start. Yeah, I can't see any. Oh, there we go. Can you see
There
me
you
now?
go.
Okay, I changed my
Okay.
Wi-Fi. Hold on, let's see if that works. So yeah, originally I'd put it in and for nothing. I just put in Hubbardston and was scrolling down the list and I saw Rutland, Ashburnham, a couple here, a couple there. Nothing for Hubbardston. So, and then I and dates, seeing that maybe I need to put in a date. And I put in, like a couple weekends further down the list and I still did not see anything pop up, but that doesn't mean anything. That just, that could be that it's just not popping up on my search for whatever reason.
Yeah, and you could maybe the three that I have are Triggers Cabin.
Mm-hmm. What are the
And
other
maybe you can find it. Then Hooties Howl, Hooties Hollow. And then Camp Without Camping Out. See if you can find any of that through any of them.
Find a place to stay. This stupid thing. Ashburnham, Sunderland, Amherst, Stanford, New Ipswich, Worcester. Ooh, found one. Triggers Cabin, 109.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
What?
that's one of them, correct.
Keith, Northfield, Amherst, Hatfield.
Yeah, there's 15 pages of them. They're all mixed in.
I don't understand why if you're in Hubbardston, why I wouldn't just pull up Hubbardston.
Oh, I don't know either.
I think if you go to Princeton, I think the Hubbardston's pop up on Princeton.
It could, a lot of the Princeton's have, and one of them in Princeton is very expensive, yeah.
Where's Monet? Is she on here?
She was
Well, she was,
Ruh-roh.
gone.
Well, then technically people can't vote until she pops back up.
yep.
Yeah, on anything.
Ugh.
Yep,
Oh, I'm here. She's
here
trying to.
trying to reconnect.
All right, we haven't lost her.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
a plus.
it did it to me earlier too. It did. It said you're disconnected. It did do that. Absolutely.
Y'all need a Wi-Fi booster.
Well, mine has two, and it sometimes it's just the one that I'm on. It like won't connect very well, so I'll just to the
So
other
you
one.
have the 2G, 5G thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's on the same Wi-Fi thing. I don't understand why the hell that makes a difference,
Yeah.
but
Now my computer died and now I'm connecting with something.
with
That's
something.
Well, it says dot, dot, dot.
Oh, well, you're still here, so.
Well,
Oops.
that's true.
Yeah, like we see you.
She's not.
All right.
Okay.
She's not
Okay.
listening to him, but she's writing, so I don't know how that's happening.
Do you have to let her in?
So she puts her hand up and then she gets to, yeah, I'm on my phone. What?
No,
Oh,
Whitney.
okay.
Whitney, you're the host. Do you have to let her in?
Where?
So it's got to be an accept button.
Yeah, it will say it. Usually, I
Or-
see on a computer. I do it on when I was doing
No,
it on the side.
it does
You gotta let
not.
her
It doesn't.
reconnect from my desktop. Okay, so maybe she's just trying to reconnect still and hasn't even got that far.
Yeah.
Because it should pop when she's. It will say something like, Monet is trying to.
Right now,
Yeah.
Right now, my panel is showing Monet as an attendee, not a panelist. So she hasn't been accepted.
All right, so then Whitney, you gotta accept her.
I don't have anywhere to accept her. I don't have anywhere. I have attendee. She must be the attendee. Yeah, she's an attendee on my list of participants. And then the rest of us are the panelists. And I don't have, I could do share screen, participants. Let's see what more says. Disable and then about. Nope. Does not allow me anything about bringing her in.
Can you click on her?
Let me see. Good idea. I'm doing that now.
Oh,
No,
no.
shoot.
Can you make somebody else a co-host?
Chat, hold on. Oh, wait, invite. I could invite. I could invite.
Oh, wait, I see her.
I
She's
see her now. She's there.
Oh,
She's on the
gosh.
video, but
So when I went into the participants, I'm listed as the host.
Yes,
Oh.
you are.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
okay.
I don't know how.
Who knows?
Am I back?
Yes,
Bella,
You're back.
this is gonna be one hell
Yay!
video. That's all I gotta say on the town website. It's gonna be one.
That's all right. That's all right. We got good hearts. Our hearts are in the right place. I think that's all anyone cares about.
The laptop I was on died. Sorry. And I was like, oh,
That's
no.
okay. That's all right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, so Katie found a couple of the listings or one of them. There are a few more. They're just kind of embedded with the rest of them. Um, in answer, Katie, to your comments about other platforms in which to rent homes, absolutely, there's no doubt about it. The difference is that VRBO and some of the other ones, Homestay, et cetera, don't offer the ability to pay out to the town, okay? So while I'm not against inviting all of those platforms for homeowners to partake in any one of those platforms, those that are partaking in Airbnb, my opinion is that they should be charged a fee because they just should. And I mean, if we had that option from VRBO and the other platforms, I would jump all over that as well.
Yeah, see, I'm always against.
I know it.
Yeah.
I think it's a slippery slope that people may not ever want to do the Airbnb thing if they look at it and they're like, oh, the town's taking this from me and that from me, and every time I rent this, they're going to want this and that. I'm only saying that's why I would think that just a one-time fee would be more attractive to people, because then it's not like every time I rent this, they take 3%. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. That's just a personal opinion. That if it was my house, that's what I would think.
Well, they could pay a 10% hotel tax if they want.
Well, that's true. That's true too.
What's
And
cheap?
and bed and breakfast will also charge you that hotel tax. They have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, true. That's all good points. Valid.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
Are we voting on this tonight? Is that what we're doing?
well, I mean, I'd like to. I mean, we are in at the 3%. Okay, we did vote on that,
Okay,
and we can just push that through. I just wanted to, given what I'd been calculating and seeing over the past couple of months since the last time we talked about this, I wanted it brought up again in the event that, folks thought that a better thing would be to do a registration fee, and that's a whole different word, right? These other taxes these other things are coming under an impact tax or that kind of thing. A registration fee is completely different, and people look at it, completely differently. So I just wanted to bring that forward and, make sure that everyone was on the same page with it.
I see it for both sides. I do. Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I see it from both sides. I see like, oh yeah, so it's good to
Yeah.
do it one way or the other. I see benefits and disadvantages both ways. So it's really, I think, one side or the other. If you're going to do it, then just, I think, stay with the 3% if it's already been voted in.
Okay.
But
All right. Okay. All right. So then, I guess we'll leave the vote standing as it was. We don't need to take a vote on it if it's not changing. We'll keep it standing as it was. But we could take a vote that we've discussed the other alternatives. So yeah, okay, we'll make a motion to accept the 3% tax for Airbnb. And anyone to make a motion on that, please.
I make a motion to accept.
Okay, second.
I second the motion.
Okay. Any objections? No. Okay, there we go. Thank you. All right, on to new business. Tonight we were going to do elections, but Taryn is missing, and I would like as many people to be included in the voting as possible. I will say, Monet, this is your time to maybe, sorry, to maybe volunteer if you like. There are two positions that are available. One would be chairperson. The other one would be a secretary. I spoke to Ryan earlier today when I found out that Taryn would not be attending. And I asked Ryan what his suggestion was, because the elections are overdue. And his suggestion was to take a vote on if people are comfortable as is right now. And if that's the case, then we just move forward as is. Of course, we would have to continue with a rotating secretary, because so far everyone that I've spoken to has said, I'll do it if nobody else wants to. So that's kind of what we're left with. So we do need to take a vote on that. We need to take a vote on if people are comfortable with leaving it as is. And also I'd like to hear from Monet if she has any interest in any of the positions or either of the
But
positions.
I don't really know what either of them entail too much. I mean, secretary, I suppose, is just kind of taking notes as to the meeting. Since this is my first committee I've ever been on, I'm not really,
Yeah.
you know.
So secretary, yeah, would be taking notes for the meetings, preparing minutes from from the meetings. We have later on the agenda that I was going to discuss that we had a meeting, or I attended one of the recent BOS meetings, and we made a decision to update them monthly, and that also would be part of the secretary's responsibility, would be to prepare that, just to inform them of what we're doing, what we're accomplishing, and like that.
I'm more than happy to take on that role. That doesn't seem like it'd be too hard. I mean, I'm
Ooh,
more than willing
nice.
to be here and I can take notes and whatnot. So if that needs to be filled, then I'm happy to do that.
Okay, well, if that's the case then, and we can go ahead with the elections, then let's go ahead with both elections, I'm guessing. And so that would be for chair and also for secretary. Okay, so Katie, I'm going to have you handle that because I'm the chair and I don't feel like I should handle it. We need nominations.
I'm
Just
the
go
select
ahead.
board. I'm the select board, so I don't have a say in anything.
Well, I mean, no, but just you conduct it. Just ask everybody what they're.
Oh, you just want me to ask them? Okay.
Yeah.
If they want to be, what do you want me to
No,
ask?
if we're asking for nominations for both of these positions.
I would like to nominate Whitney as the chairperson and Monet as the secretary.
There you go.
Okay.
There's a nomination. Would anybody like to second that nomination?
I will second the nomination.
There you go. So now you need a roll call vote. Ready? I'm gonna say you guys in order. Peter?
Aye.
Yeah. Okay. Monet?
Aye.
Danielle?
Aye.
Whitney?
Aye.
There you go. Done. You're welcome.
Thank you. And Monet, thank you. This is terrific. Thank you so much.
Happy to help.
Thank you. Okay, wonderful. Okay. All right, wonderful. Okay, next on the agenda is the survey results, and I apologize. I thought I would have those results. In fact, Ryan said he won't have them generated, I think, until February 1st. So, so we'll have to wait for that. But one of the things on the survey that we, that we included in the survey was the overlay, the commercial overlay. And I sent everybody the application for the DLTA, grant. Does everyone understand what that grant is? Everybody?
Yes.
Any questions about the grant? It is not a financial grant. It is a technical assistance grant. Where we would, get some, and we might even from this, I think, Katie, one time you mentioned something about maybe Alice having a thing about comparisons to different towns. And I think
Well,
this is,
yeah, it's the planning board has they compiled a list of comparisons between towns for I think they were going over their fee structure, if I remember correctly. And
okay, yeah.
Comparisons of which towns, for fees for this, fees for that. And I think they were also using the comparisons between towns for something else. And I can't remember what the other thing was. But yeah, there's a comparisons that they have between town to town. So I would either check with Alice or whoever the secretary person is for the planning board at this point. And I'm not totally sure who it is. I think it's Mallory.
Okay. In the meanwhile, we will, if and we're going to vote on this evening, to go ahead with this grant, we'll probably get that same information included in this, as well as additional information.
Say what now?
Wouldn't you think that if, we're going to vote on moving forward with this grant tonight or not? And
Yeah.
wouldn't you think that this grant would include that same information?
Oh, be somebody different. You're
Okay.
working with people. You're gonna need to go to the planning board and ask them for that.
Okay.
That compiling that they did a while back, because that was
Okay.
done totally separate entity. So they're not even gonna know about that. Is my
Okay.
guess.
Okay. Do you think, Katie, that applying for this grant now is putting the cart before the horse? Should we wait to see what Alice has and see if that's enough information for us?
No, it's not gonna be enough information for you.
Okay. Okay. All right.
No, go after.
What's that?
When in doubt, go after the grant.
Okay. All right. So, hearing that everybody has looked over that application and has an understanding of what that is, I think that we should take a vote on it unless anyone has any questions about it. Anybody?
Nope.
No question.
Okay. Okay. All right, so then I move to make a motion to approve the application, the grant application, DLTA.
Second.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
No.
Okay, terrific. Great. And Katie, by the way, if you looked at that paper, you'll see on the bottom where it said submitted by Ryan on behalf of the Board of Selectmen. I already told him, change that verbiage to select board.
Trust Yeah. So that's the least of my problems. Okay.
I'm sure it is, but we're watching out for you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. That's great. That's terrific. All right, we're moving fast. That's great. Okay, so next on the agenda is our meet and greet. And as we briefly talked about in the last meeting, we'd like to do that in a Q&A forum. And the idea is that the questions will be pre-submitted, giving everybody, every department enough time to, look up the answers, do any research, and get a definitive answer as to the best of their ability. What I'd like to do tonight is establish a date for that Q&A. Also, we need to have someone volunteer to moderate that, and also to ask anyone to submit any questions that they'd like included at that Q&A from our committee. And I'm sure we'll come up with a couple over the next couple of weeks, and we'll fine tune our questions next meeting. So right now, if we're looking at March, a date in March, I think would be great. Typically, our third Wednesday of the month would fall on St. Patrick's Day. And so I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I would think perhaps not, and that maybe we should move that to a different date.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Agreed. Okay. Okay. And just so everybody knows, I think that ideally what I'd like to do is have that Q&A, meet and greet Q&A on a particular date, and then, but not have that be our meeting. I'd like to quickly kind of follow up with a meeting and be able to, go over some of the, what occurred during the Q&A.
Excellent.
So let me ask you a question on this. Are you still planning on having or asking somebody from like the Board of Health and the building department come to this, or have you guys morphed it, the idea of what this is actually going to entail?
This is going to have somebody from nearly every department actually attending.
Okay. And what if like a bunch of them either can't or won't attend? Is it just if you get some questions submitted in advance?
Well, I did bring that up to Ryan, and his answer to me was, tell me who you want to be there and I'll make sure that they're there. Now, if it's, and that, and if it's something that they can't for whatever reason, which is another reason why we should pick a date quickly. So that if, if we find out several department heads are unavailable, we would want them included. We would definitely want them included. I mean, otherwise, then we can just have a write-in, just ask people, write in your questions to the, to the EDC. We want this to be live and we want interaction with it.
Okay.
So
But
I would think,
you need to submit, correct? So that way nobody has,
you're breaking up a lot. I'm sorry. You're breaking up a lot.
sorry. So the questions are still going to need to be submitted in advance, correct?
Correct. Yep.
All right. I
They're
would
gonna be, Go
say
ahead.
if you schedule it, give it a little bit more than a month, because like the March date, like even that, like I would push more towards the end of March, beginning of April, just so you can get enough advertising and people on board to be there, and utilize your Facebook page for the Zoom link. And I would even create an event on the EDC page that we could be shared, it could be shared to different
Sure.
social media accounts, so that way it can be publicized well enough that people are actually have a clue that this is going on.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm also trying to fit this in with Ryan's schedule,
Okay. Yeah, true.
right? Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's
So,
never mind. You can't push
Well,
that
if you
up.
do it far enough in advance, then it should be able to kind of align with most people's schedule if you give
well,
them.
it's not even February 1. So what if we moved it later into March, okay? Towards the end of March. Now we're talking where we're giving ourselves almost 2 months.
All right. Yeah, you have to start advertising like next week for this.
Yeah, so people are even interested.
Yeah, I have the letters prepared, the invites, let's say. I ran them past Ryan. Peter and I worked on them, and they're just, we, created some bullet points, and it's, it's an invite just like we described it. Very transparent, letting the department heads know that these questions will be asked in advance, letting the businesses know that while they need to, have their questions pre-submitted, there will be an allowance for some follow-up questions. But in order to relating to that particular question, but for the, in convenience of time, we have to limit. In other words, we can't have one question and then it goes on for 45 minutes. So we kind of, have to fine tune it.
But the other thing too, I want to limit it to just businesses, because it could be somebody kicking around the idea of doing something, but they don't even know how to get started. So they may have very specific questions, just a resident from town, about if I were to do this, how,
Sure.
like X,
Or
Y,
I'm thinking about doing this, right? Yeah.
So that's the whole thing about making sure it gets out to the public well enough in advance and repeatedly. So, because it usually takes at least hits somehow, 3 touches before it starts to sink into people's heads.
Okay. Well, I could get that. I could get that whole that the entire letter. We can also put them, I guess, on the town website where they would be visible to see what's going out to everybody. I don't have an email address for every resident, but I have a.
But go out in the reverse emails. Lori can take care of that. Which
Okay.
They're kind of not working very well, but she's trying to resolve that. So.
Okay. All right. Terrific.
And then, like I said, with the Facebook page, if you utilize the Hubbardston EDC Facebook page and create an event for it with explaining it, the event can get to different, like the town can pick it up, I can pick it up, we can put it on the Hubbardston people, and just share it that way. So hopefully it will get the word out, whether it's on social media, via email, or, direct letter, it's
Right. Okay, so I'm going to look at, we have the 24th of March. We have any date in March, actually. I mean, it doesn't have to be on a Wednesday either. So let's pick a date now so that we can, get that out there, and perhaps something like the the night, I mean, we're talking about now 4, 5, 6 on the, if we did it on the 18th or the 25th, that would give us 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks at least, almost 9 weeks.
Yeah.
Katie, what is your schedule? What is your schedule like with,
Yeah, I can do either because those 2 days is just a simple meeting that I have that I can always ditch.
a Thursday is okay for you?
So on the 18th or the 25th, I definitely cannot do March 11th. That one I'm booked.
Okay, fine. Anybody else? 18th or 25th? I'm fine with pushing it all the way to the 25th to get as much advertising in as possible and leaving us.
The 25th. I think that's smart to push it back just a little bit further so that people can clear schedules.
I think.
So beyond the 25th or to the 25th, Monet?
The 25th, right? It's a Thursday, the 25th. Is that what I was
Yep.
looking at? Yeah.
Yep. Okay, Danielle, Thursday, 25?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, terrific. Is there anyone who would like to volunteer to mediate this? I know that Ryan would like to be, to have it included as, a program as well. More than just, people coming in and just, throwing out these questions. So I think that he'd like to have a little bit of a narration in the beginning and maybe talk about some other things as well. I'd like to be able to give the questions from the EDC, but I'd look for somebody to moderate this event. Any volunteers? Not yet.
I'm on monitor it even if I tried, so it wouldn't work.
You what?
I'm on an iPad, so I couldn't monitor it even if I tried.
Okay. Fair enough. Anybody else? Okay, what I'll do is I'll talk to Taryn. Hopefully, God willing, things will be on an upswing by that time. And see what his thoughts are on that, and we can revisit this at another time. That's not a problem. I'll get one of you to do it. Okay. And then let's think about, everybody, take a, little bit of time and think about questions that you would like submitted as well from our committee.
Trust me, I already got a list.
You do?
Uh-huh.
Are you one of the people that are going to want to remain anonymous?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Looking forward to it. Okay. So, again, I'll mention that I met with the Board of Selectmen at their meeting, I think earlier this month. It was a nice meeting. I shared with them some of our goals, some of the projects that we're working on. They seem very appreciative of it. And I think we're all excited to work together. And again, we will be making monthly reports to them. And I know that Katie stepped in and said, she would relay anything. And I thought, yeah, maybe a paper trail. Because actually, I can't find any of our meetings anywhere on YouTube. I've looked just constantly to go back and look over things, and it just doesn't seem. I think that Peter went through the same thing as well. Am I right, Peter?
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, there were some there, but not all of them. There was like 2 or 3.
Yeah. So maybe we can look into an easier way to be able to pull them up, because I have difficulty with that as well. Okay. And Katie, I wanted to mention something to you. Maybe you can tell me if this is, or tell us if this is something that needs to be addressed. In the bylaws for the home businesses, regarding one employee, okay, versus increasing that, we have a phrasing that says non-resident. And I'm wondering if it might behoove us to change that phrasing, because non-resident can be looked at like, wait a minute, this person lives in Hubbardston. They are a resident here. How come they can't, work at our home business?
Wouldn't that be, I don't know, is it worded as in like non-resident into the home, that it's actually the business.
Well, it starts off that way. It does start off that way. Hang on, I'm gonna try and I'm gonna bring it up. And I'm gonna read it to you and you tell me if, you know, I just don't want it to be you know, I want to say excuse. You know, I don't want it to be a problem in its interpretation. So hold on, it's 2.12 on the bylaws. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. It says an accessory use as set forth in section 2.2 above of a single family residential structure involving provision of sale of goods and or services and the creation of handicrafts and artwork, which is carried on by members of the family residing on the premises, plus no more than one non-resident assistant or employee.
Yeah, that would just mean somebody on the property.
I understand that, but do you think that that's going to be a backlash from people saying that they didn't understand it to read that way?
Well, sweetie, you can't fix stupid. I don't know. I don't, that if you don't understand that, ask for clarification. I mean,
Okay.
we'd have, yeah, no, I leave that alone. Don't even mess with that. That's not
Okay.
worth, yeah, entertaining. Yeah, no.
Okay. Because when I read it and when I was looking over, you know, the survey questions, and I thought, oh, I wonder if somebody can make an argument about that was interpreted this way rather than, you know, because non-resident is, yeah. Or maybe, you know, just to clarify residing in the household.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you can clarify it and tweak it, but I mean, they go off with the bylaws every few years. I think it's every 5 or 10 years. There's a bylaw committee. They review it all. They just did it like 2 years ago, and they clean up language and things like that.
Okay.
You know, make things, and obviously that one hasn't been cleaned up because it kind of makes sense. I mean, hell, I'm dyslexic. I understood that. You know, like that made sense to me.
Right. Okay.
So I think they actually do need to clean that up because you can have, what does it say, one non-resident as a worker?
Right.
So
Yeah.
non-resident,
Let me-
that's what it means, right? You don't
Yeah.
live at that.
Exactly. Yeah. As it reads is the artwork which one is carried on by members of the family residing on the premises, plus no more than one non-resident assistant or employee.
Okay.
So in other words, if you have a family of 800 kids like I do, I could have all the kids working there, and I could
Yeah.
have one person from another, you know, somebody else like my best friend or something come and help
Right.
me.
Another household.
Yeah. But all my
Right.
kids work no matter what. So
And
it
we're
doesn't-
trying to change those numbers, aren't we? Working on that?
Well, we are
Yeah.
trying to change those numbers. I just wanted to know if we thought that there needed to be clarification because somebody can say, oh, I thought you meant I could have one person working from Athol, but I could have 15 people if they lived in Hubbardston.
no,
That's what I'm saying.
no, because it
Well, I
says,
mean, I think they can say whatever they want, but what it is what it is.
Right.
yeah, because it talks about living in the household. So
Okay. All right. All right. Well, maybe if it comes up on the next, you know, spring cleaning of the verbiage,
Well,
they'll
the
look
whole-
over that.
the whole thing is if it does show that people are willing to have it changed, and we do end up changing it to make it more, you know, an easier read, you know, a little bit more clarified with that.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Or maybe when, you know, if those increases are going to come through or whatever, and that, you know, and then that gets a little bit rewritten, we can clarify it during that.
yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah.
Only I
Okay. That's all right. Your turn. Your turn. All right. Okay. Any community concerns that anybody's heard of? Anything from anyone?
No.
I haven't heard anything.
Okay, me neither. That's good news. All right, there we have it. That's our meeting for January 27th. I need a motion to adjourn the meeting, please, at 7:40.
Second.
Okay, terrific. Thank you, everybody.